Welcome into the Nashville Game Changers podcast. I'm your host, Jill Jelnick. We have a handful of former Tennessee Titans that have planted roots here in Nashville and has made the Music City their forever home. And that includes our guest this week. Not only is he a former Tennessee Titan, he's a two-time first-team All-Pro. He's also a business owner here in Nashville, a girl dad, and he knows a thing or two when it comes to playing in prime time. Please help me welcome to the show, Mr. Monday Night, Keith Bulluck. Keith, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I want to get into a lot of different stuff. Obviously, all your businesses here in Nashville, why you decided to call Nashville home. But actually, what I want to start with is what I'm most curious about. I know the game where you got the nickname Mr. Monday Night, right? Back in 2007, the big win, 3 picks against Drew Brees and the Saints. How did that name come about? Who gave you that nickname?
Excuse me. It was self-proclaimed.
Oh, you gave yourself that nickname.
I did. It was kind of matter-of-factly, though. And abbreviated story is the Titans, we had been in a lull for a while, from the year, 04 to like 06. And then we finally had a Monday night game. Vince Young won Rookie of the Year the previous year, so now we're getting some notoriety. And, one of the reporters asks me, he's like, have you ever played on Monday night? And I'm on year 5, 6. I've been to a Pro Bowl. I'm All-Pro. I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm Mr. Monday Night. So they took that and they ran with it, and they printed it or however it went. And then when it's obviously, Monday night games, you're the last thing. So they keep talking, oh, Keith Bulluck says he's Mr. Monday Night. And I felt as if they were trying to play me like I wasn't like that guy, and it just happened, to be honest, that, even with my film study, I was very much into film study. And when you play the game like that, you always pick out 4 to about 6 plays that if I see this, they're going to do this, and I'm going to make the play on this. And it just happened that 2 of those plays, I got the opportunity. Those were 2 of my interceptions, and 1 was a tip pass. I was just opportunistic, so it turned into 3. And growing up, I always wanted to be like John Madden had the horse trailer award. So obviously, rest in peace, John Madden. He wasn't calling the game that night, but I definitely would have got the horse trailer. So yeah, 3 picks in one night against now Hall of Famer Drew Brees, great player, but happens to the best of them.
That was certainly not his night. That was your night.
Right.
Okay, so not only did you proclaim yourself Mr. Monday Night, but then you followed that up with 3 picks. That's pretty cool. Like, how many times do you get to see whatever you kind of put into the world, the universe, right, or ahead of the game, and then you follow it through and then some?
Well, you don't realize things until after, and that's something like almost like you're calling your own shot. Babe Ruth, pointing to right center field and hitting a home run, or however the story goes. But I know I put a lot of time and effort into my craft when I was playing, and there was a reason why I was All-Pro. There was a reason why I went to Pro Bowls. Playing in a small market, I never hung my hat on accolades because they weren't really coming down here even when we were winning. So it was just always my attitude to go out and be the best. And if you're better than me, then we have 60 minutes to prove it in a game called football.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
What do coaches always say? The individual accolades and awards always come after the team is doing well. They follow afterwards the team success, right? And that's something that I've heard plenty coaches say over time, and players. Speaking of accolades, you can go ahead and add. You had most tackles in the NFL, 2004. That was only like, what year was that for you?
That was
Fourth
like
year?
My second. So I didn't start until my 3rd year. So I got on the field in 2002. And that year we started off 1-4 and went all the way to the AFC Championship game. And then the following year, Steve McNair's MVP year. And then things went downhill a little bit after that. But yeah, those right in between then. So I think it was like my 2nd year I got on the field. But I always complain and, I'm always snide about, I didn't start till my third year, but I was a student of the game. So I learned so much, during that time. And Greg Williams was our coach, our defense coordinator my rookie year. And I didn't really get to play that much for him, but I learned a lot about being a pro because when I got in the league, it wasn't like it is now. I had Bruce Matthews was on my team, so he was like 38 years old, 20-year vet. He's going home, and a lot of guys were going home to their wife and kids and stuff, and I'm 22 years old, fresh out of Syracuse. But Greg would have certain things that he would go by, and, the veterans on that team would reinforce it. And one of the things that stuck out was don't be a repeat offender. Everyone makes mistakes, but don't keep making the same mistake. And if you make it more than once, to me, it's like, why are you making, you're probably not cut out for that job.
Yeah. You mentioned Coach Williams and the leadership. You also had some other great leaders your rookie year, your early years, right? Eddie George, Steve McNair.
Sure,
How much, what did you learn from them early on?
I would say from Eddie, I call him, I call him Captain America because he is the guy. He's always positive. You know what I'm saying? He has that work ethic. He's kind of like that, all-American football player. Like growing up, I played running back and I played defense. I made the decision in going into college that I want to play defense. I'd rather give the hits than take them. So Eddie George is someone that I kind of looked at because I was a tall running back. And, to play on his team and to, become a friend of him and just kind of to see, how he moves. Obviously, he started about on the field as a leader and a captain, and when you're down, when you're going through adversity, he's always giving people advice to this day. No matter if we talk now, he's definitely by the end. If we talk for more than an hour, he's gonna hit me with something philosophical that's like, yeah, you know what? You got a
Drop
point.
some knowledge on you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I always appreciated that about him and still do. And with Steve, he taught me about what it's like being a teammate, embracing your teammates on the field, off the field. Steve wasn't a big talker when it came to on the field things. When it was time to go down, like he'll say a few words and then what time it is. You just follow his lead. And that was what it was like playing on his team. You follow his lead. It's like one of those things if he gets hit really hard or, they do him dirty or, just things aren't going right. He'll lock in, and then you see the O-line lock in, and you see Frank Wycheck line, then you just see everybody lock in, and then, I learned that from that earlier group that we just spoke about, following the lead, and those guys were definitely great leaders.
Yeah, because you were drafted in 2000, so right after they went to the Super Bowl. So first round, number 30 overall.
Yes, ma'am.
Roger Goodell to this day, didn't he say something that was the best draft class?
He did. He just said that. He just said, he just said that.
I'm not crazy, right?
Not at all. I went to the draft this year to represent, and I had Olawafemi Aladejo.
Yeah. Hey, you got that pretty good.
But Roger Goodell led with that, and I think what really got us over the top is Tom Brady being in our draft class. We have several Hall of Famers, but when you got Tommy B, like, wait, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, Mr. Monday Night, Tommy B, the go. Yeah, I mean, it's the best draft class, hands down. So, okay, so what was your initial thought when you got drafted by a team that had just went to the Super Bowl?
You know what? I didn't know much about them. I knew more about the Houston Oilers because I used to play with, I guess they were the Tennessee Oilers at the time.
They were
I used to play with them on Madden, so I knew about the team.
Because of the video game.
Yeah, but then by the time I got drafted, they were the Tennessee Oilers, but the Tennessee Titans, I'm sorry. Yeah. But my agent had Kevin Dyson. So I trained for the combine. So it would be around this time I would be out in LA training for the combine. And the day the Music City Miracle happened, my agent called me. He's like, he did it. Kevin caught the pass. I had no idea what was going on because out of college, in college, you don't even watch too much pro football because you got study table on Sunday, you got treatment on Saturdays after the game. So that was really the first time was the Music City Miracle, and then the Super Bowl. It was just, I remember the Titans side of it.
Yeah.
You know, the Titans were very memorable because I didn't even think I was going to get drafted to the Titans. And then lo and behold, when I got drafted here, you know, this team was a championship caliber team, you know, so that's kind of where, and that was beneficial to me because at some point in my career, we weren't a championship caliber team, and it was always the goal to get back to that, and we were able to.
And you were with the Titans 10 years?
Yes, ma'am.
10 out of your 11 years.
Yep.
What was the biggest thing you took away from your NFL career?
I think the biggest thing I took away from, that was a great question. The biggest thing I took away from my NFL career was that it was just a game, you know, and when I go back to when I was playing it, I took it very serious, but I made sure I had fun. You know, I made sure I had fun, you know, I used to, you know, talk the talk, but I made sure I could walk the walk, and that like made it fun for me. Like, you know, some of the favorite players I like are like more wide receiver, cornerback guys, like you know, Chad Johnson and Terrell Owens, Deion Sanders. You know, those guys that really, you know, put it out there on the line, make the game interesting, and then you go out there and back it up. And as a defender, and then playing here in Tennessee, you didn't get a lot of respect anyway. Maybe, you know, I don't know that, you know, much gets a lot of respect in small markets, you know. So it was important that when we're a good team that I let everyone else know that we're good down here in Nashville.
Yeah, you did. You made sure of that. You're listening to the Nashville Game Changers podcast with former Tennessee Titan Keith Bulluck. We'll be right back after this. Keith, you mentioned it a couple times how Nashville is that small market. And for those listening, what we mean is when it comes to the national media, national sports media, whether it's ESPN, NFL Network, Nashville does not historically, still doesn't get a ton of love from national media. So like, for example, I remember when back with Coach Vrabel, Mike Vrabel, when the Titans were had the best record in the AFC, they had the #1 seed, right? And ESPN's Get Up that morning was talking about the Green Bay Packers. And I don't even know if they were even they might have missed the playoffs. Maybe that was why they were talking about them. But I remember specifically thinking, man, what does Tennessee need to do to get love from the national spotlight? And I believe that the city is headed towards a better direction because, one, we got a new stadium coming along. The sports scene here just keeps growing and growing. We'll probably get an MLB team, maybe WNBA team someday. But in your opinion, why is Nashville just doesn't get the national media love it should?
I think that had the Titans won that Super Bowl or in '99, or got back to the Super Bowl in 2000 or somewhere within the early 2000s, like, you know, we had people talking about Nashville then early, but we didn't get over that hump. And then you speak about Vrabel and his team, they were like the Cinderellas, you know, but then when they got in position to host the AFC Championship game, same thing like us, we hosted and, you know, it didn't go our way. And that's 3 different times that we've hosted here, but have never gotten an opportunity to celebrate after winning an AFC Championship game, knowing that we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, we hosted here twice. But that being said, that's, I feel, what it is. You know, once you get that Super Bowl and you start putting those championships together, because trust me, there's not much going on in New England, but you know, if they're not winning and they started to win, and there's not much going on in Kansas City if you're not winning, but they started to win. So I think once, you know, this franchise, is able to string some championship seasons and championship caliber seasons together again in recent history, we'll see a lot more because, like you just explained, the infrastructure is ready for it. I hope we win a Super Bowl or the Titans are in the Super Bowl that comes here, but I hope they win one before one comes here.
I absolutely hope so too. And the franchise hoping that Robert Saleh is the answer, the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans. I got a chance to talk to him after his introductory press conference, and I liked a lot of the things he said, including, how he explained what went wrong in his first head coaching stint with the Jets. He owned up to it and said what didn't go wrong for me. I liked that. What is your take on Robert Saleh?
All I got was from the press conference, and then you also, for me, it's about what stuck out in the press conference was he's not shy. They're going to be fast and violent. You can tell that his demeanor is very defensive minded, right? And I like the fact that he went and got an offense specific guy that has done it. And Brian Daboll. So knowing that Daboll has full autonomy on the offense and he has full autonomy on the defense, and then you got, the absolute legend and Bones Fossil, holding it down on special teams. I think that it should be a nice, well-coached team. And maybe in the past, the coaches may have gone overlooked, where you get, Vrabel wanted some coaching staff adjustments and, management was like, nah, however that went. But, and then Callahan comes in and you think he has it. And then now it seems like even management got a little smarter to allow the head coach to get his guys in there that speak the same language. And if they fail, then look, that's one thing. But I like the fact of how Saleh is forming the team that he's putting around him so he can have the best opportunity to coach the team the way he needs and knows he wants to coach them.
It's clear. It gives the impression that it is his vision, what he wants. And like you said, I do love the hire of Brian Daboll, too, for offense and for Cam Ward. One question that I always hear head coaches get asked, and I'm always curious what is the right answer? Question is, what to you is a successful first season as a head coach? What do you think would be a successful first season for Robert Saleh this year?
I think what you have to first do is throw away wins and losses, right? I think it's more about how your team shows up every Sunday. So if they're competitive, if they're playing physical, if they're playing and doing all the things that you're saying, if they're playing smart football, sometimes you just don't have the firepower. Sometimes teams are just better than you. But if you're going out and you're playing smart football and you're being competitive, and it looks like all three phases, offense, defense, special teams, then you could start seeing the coach's vision. And with that, the wins should start to come. Now you can start paying attention to the wins and losses, because I feel like with that formula and that approach, you're going to get to the wins and losses, but you can't get to wins and losses until you have a foundation built, you have a culture built, you have an attitude, and everybody's buying in and executing the way that you want them to as a head coach.
And there have been successful head coaches recently, new head coaches that have done that. Dan Campbell is one of the ones that comes to mind, how quickly he was able to turn around that Detroit Lions franchise. We hope that that's the case with Robert Saleh and his staff. And as the media and as a fellow podcaster, it's our job to critique them every step of the way.
Them for sure. You gotta hold them accountable.
You gotta hold them accountable.
Yes. And like for me, honestly, as a former player, I'm never gonna act like I haven't been there. I'm always gonna look from that perspective. I'm not trying to I'm not even gonna ever talk bad about anyone at all ever. But I'm gonna give the facts and the stats on it to have it backed up. But at the end of the day, it's a tough profession. It's a very tough profession. But on the other side, there are expectations. There are expectations for you to show up and do your job. There are expectations to answer questions if, you had a bad game and or you haven't been practicing. If the coach is allowing you to answer certain questions, because that's part of being a professional athlete. And I also understand I might not want to talk to the media this week or next week or however it goes because, you know, I have a certain reason. Maybe I'm focused and locked in more. And then in a couple of weeks when I'm ready to talk, I'll talk to you guys and give you the reasons why I wasn't talking the last couple of weeks. I felt my game was off. I wanted to lock in, and talking to the media about why I'm not playing well, I don't see how that's going to help me play better.
Yeah. Injuries, you know, personal matters. There's always something, you know, going on with positive, negative. Athletes, professional athletes, no matter what sport, they always have their own lives going on too.
Yeah, and as athletes, sometimes they don't understand, we don't understand that it's okay to take a step back within your everyday work cycle.
Yeah.
So it's a lot on them,
Yeah.
but, you know.
Stay with us. You're listening to the Nashville Game Changers podcast with former Tennessee Titan All-Pro Keith Bulluck. We'll be right back after this. Keith, you decided to eventually put roots here in Nashville. At the end of your NFL career, came back here. How come?
Well, you know, my last team was with the Giants, and I always had a place in Edgewater, New Jersey, right outside New York City, since, you know, my second year in the NFL, and that's where I would go in the off season. And when the Titans didn't sign me back, when the Titans didn't sign me back and put me on the street with a torn ACL, I had my place in Jersey to go to, and we kind of settled there. Then, you know, started a family, got married after football, and we were living in the townhouse that me and my two best friends held down for like 8 years. It was cool, but, you know, we were outgrowing it. But I never sold my house here. So we would come back in the summers, you know, use the pool and kind of spend time here in Nashville. And every time I came back, I always noticed how it was growing. And, you know, we were looking to buy a house or build in Jersey. And I was like, I already got a house. Like, you know what I mean? I bought my house here in 2005, and it was just easy to move back here, put my kids in school. We thought we were going to have them in public schools, all three of them in private schools now. We thought we were coming back here to save money, but yeah, we found some way to spend it.
Yeah, funny how that works.
When I say we, I'm just joking.
Yeah. No, shout out to your beautiful wife. I had the chance to meet her at FRA volleyball.
Yeah.
Yes, your two oldest daughters both playing volleyball for the Panthers. Athletes, all three of your daughters, very athletic. Maybe a potential career in athletics down the line.
You know what? It's really up to them. Me personally and my wife, it's important to have them in something. And she grew up in the city of San Francisco, the Fillmore district. I grew up right outside of New York City. So, you know, it's easy to be mischievous if you don't have something. Easier for us. They live in Brentwood, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but to your point.
Right, that's just the mentality that we have growing up in the areas that we grew up in. So, you know, for sport, it was sports for me. It was sports for her at a young age too. And, you know, giving them that gives them the opportunity to go through adversity, to have young adult situations. Go talk to your coach. Find out why you're not playing, or find out what you can do to get better, or, you know, those type situations that we take away from our kids now. You know, most parents take away from our kids. So sports forces them into that, and it gives them structure and, you know, dealing with people. You know, we're trying to raise good people. I feel like a lot of kids are baby just by nature of the parenting these days. You want to do everything for them, but, you know, sports makes them fend for themselves a little bit. But, you know, you're still right there in arm's reach.
How much pride do you take in being a girl dad?
You know, now it's a coined phrase. So, you know, I definitely take a lot of pride in it, just because those are my kids, right? I didn't really when I had like 3 girls, I was like, oh, I'm a girl. I never looked at it like that, but I knew I had a special responsibility as a father to 3 girls, you know, even in the way that I speak to their mother, like the way I move around the house, the way that, you know, they can go back and Google things about me and stuff like that. And had those conversations, and of course they understand them, and I'm just myself around them, so I don't know how they take that all the time, but one of the funny things is when they were younger and we would be traveling and doing different things, and people would come up to me and they'd be like, "Daddy, why are people coming up to talk to you?" Why, before they knew anything. So that was always funny with them. Growing up with that aspect. Not like people were running up on me like I'm Cam Wood or anything, but
Yeah. It caught their eye.
Yeah,
now
for
they
sure.
now they probably your oldest daughters may even roll their eyes now whenever someone comes up to you now, because they get
too
it.
much.
They get it now. They get it now. That's funny. You have a lot of different things going on in Nashville, whether it's the Just Love Cafe. I love that. That's in Franklin.
Yeah.
And really cool meaning behind that franchise helps underprivileged kids.
Yeah, for sure. So when the draft came here in 2018, we were the host city. It was pretty awesome. I had people from all over the place asking me where to go, what to do, and I'm telling them, and I'm like, damn, I can't believe the only thing I own is my house. I have other businesses in other places. So then after that, I did some research on local brands and companies that I could tie my brand to, and we can build together, something homegrown. And I came across Rob Webb and Just Love, Rob Webb being the founder, and Just Love was philanthropic. Rob has 2 adopted daughters from Ethiopia, where coffee is originated. And I was a foster kid. I was in foster care from age 12 to 18. And when I played football, I had the Keith Bulluck Believe and Achieve Foundation that gave back to underprivileged youth and foster families in Middle Tennessee. So with this Just Love, I didn't have to create another platform. I just had to learn about coffee and running, managing and operating a restaurant. But yeah, that was done. It's been done, and I still, rocking steady with Just Love.
What's your go-to order there?
Oh man, you know what? Honestly, I think mine is a salted caramel latte. I'm very simple. Sometimes I do a cold brew with the cold foam, but I was a tea guy. I was always a tea guy, and this is a business for me. But obviously, within the business, you have to learn more about it. And from that, with Just Love, I got into single origin beans. I took a few trips to Antioquia, Colombia. So I've researched and kind of I'm about to be in the import business soon, so we have to come back and talk about that.
Yeah, you're basically a coffee connoisseur now,
right?
Yeah,
I realize
borderline coffee snob.
Not a snob,
not a snob. Okay.
I'm gonna cater to the snobs. I'm gonna set up import, coffee hub here.
Yeah.
We're in the process of doing that. We're bringing international coffees where, the coffee snobs, and we'll have coffee for regular people. They can just come, for when I say regular people, the regular everyday coffee drinker that just doesn't care, give me a cup. But be a place you can come learn about coffees, learn about the different beans, the roast. It all starts from a cherry, so that's all interesting.
Definitely let us know about that, because
sure.
I know a lot of people, myself included, that would be very interested and might become your regulars.
Nice.
Before we let you go, we'll finish with our In My Opinion segment. Full range, wherever you want to take it. We've talked about a lot.
Yeah,
definitely talked about a lot.
We did.
Yeah, and I know you're so big. Podcast. I'm sure you have a lot of opinions, especially with the new podcast.
Yeah. So I pick something in my opinion.
Yeah, with just anything.
Oh wow, yeah, and you kind of gave me a heads up too.
Yeah, that's okay.
I think so. In my opinion, I think Game Changers is a great platform. I really appreciate it, and I really realize that now that I'm doing Bullseye View, my podcast, how much time and dedication goes into it. We were talking before, and a word that I use is stick-to-itiveness. So I don't know where you want to take it. You have your ideas, and like I said, when I was at Super Bowl, I had to figure out, dang man, everybody has a podcast. You see Cam Newton, you see Ocho Cinco, you see Club Shay Shay, you see Joey Porter, you see Ryan Clyde. So everybody has it. So I love what you're doing. And as I figure out what I'm doing, maybe we have to collab, do like you know what I'm saying?
Of course, we have to stick together so we can
stick-to-itiveness.
have stick-to-itiveness. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Keith, thank you so much. You are a Nashville Game Changer.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Nashville Game Changers podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for our new guest. And also be sure to check us out on social media and online and YouTube. And when you're there, please like and subscribe.